Why don't we get started with the housekeeping things and start the meeting, and then we can hold off once Randy gets here. Good afternoon. I'd like to call this special meeting for the City Council of the City of Big Bear Lake for August 13, 2025 to order. Kendi, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Herrick?
Here.
Councilmember Hicks?
Here.
Councilmember Putz, I know he's on his way. Mayor Pro-Tem Segovia?
Here.
Mayor Melnick?
Here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public communication notice. Because this is a special meeting, therefore no general public comment period is included on this agenda. The public will be permitted to make public comments only regarding the DWP board interviews and appointment process. Moving on to our item. And so I will invite our city attorney to provide a presentation on this item.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good afternoon. And by the way, I look forward to seeing you up at Hofert Hall later this afternoon. Meantime, right now, I'd like to give you a very brief synopsis of the Board of Commissioners and how they're created and established and appointed pursuant to both the charter of the city and also Chapter 13.24 of the Municipal Code. Chapter 13.24 provides that a Board of Commissioners is created to exercise all of the powers of the city in the purchase, supply, generation, distribution, and sale of water and power. And we all know we've never engaged in the matter of provision of power, but certainly we have since 1985 when the charter was amended to deal with this regarding the provision of water. The Board of Commissioners is a 5-member board appointed by a majority vote of the City Council from qualified electors who come from within the service area of the Department of Water and Power of the city. Now, this was addressed, by the way, in an amendment to the charter in November of 2010, where the charter had previously provided it would be comprised of qualified electors solely from the city. The amendment, however, expands the pool of people who may seek appointment to the board by allowing persons who are outside the city but within the service area of the DWP to be appointed if the council sees fit. The term of commissioners is 4 years each or until a successor is appointed. There are staggered terms. 2 commissioners are appointed in 1 year, 3 others 2 years later. A board member may be removed at any time for good cause by the affirmative vote of 3 council members. In addition, a petition signed by at least 15% of registered voters in the service area requesting removal of a commissioner can also cause a public hearing to be held by the City Council to consider any such possible removal of a commissioner. And removal can take place then only if the council finds removal is, quote, in the best interest of the service area. Any vacancies on the Board of Commissioners are filled by the council for the remainder of the term only, not for a full 4-year term, but only the remainder. You should also be aware that compensation of board members is set by the City Council upon recommendation of the board, pursuant to Chapter 13.24 of the Municipal Code. You also might want to be aware that the Board of Commissioners may provide retirement or other benefits to commissioners and employees as are established for other city employees. And finally, no city council member or city employee is allowed to be appointed to the Board of Commissioners. And that is my report on what you are about to consider doing today with potential appointments. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Steve, appreciated. Now I will turn it back over to council. Questions were sent to all of you. There are 10 questions. We need to get them down to 8, with each of you asking 2. So I will give you all an opportunity to say which questions you would prefer to ask. I have no skin in the game as to who wants to respond to this first.
I'd like 2 and 9. possibly.
To remove or that you want to
I
ask?
would like to ask those questions.
I'll do 1 and 3. That's fine.
So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Kendi, any? Randy?
I have no preference, so I'm happy to ask whatever.
I like question 6.
Okay, I'll take 6.
So we need 3 more questions.
Why don't I just take 4?
4. Randy? And does anybody have, I should say, comments on the questions? And please feel free to make them your own, however you're comfortable asking them. Well, we did that efficiently.
Yes.
We're not supposed to start. Craig, are you comfortable starting? Is everybody ready to get going if we started a few minutes early? Great.
Who's this? Craig?
Craig.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Well, welcome, and thank you for participating in today's interviews. We have 20 minutes scheduled for each applicant and 8 questions. The city clerk has programmed a timer that will beep to notify you when there's 7 minutes remaining of your interview time. At the end of the interview, if time permits, we will be providing you with a chance to make a brief closing statement and ask any questions you might have. And to get started, I will have Chuck ask the first question.
Okay, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to call you Craig.
That's
I'm
perfectly
not
right.
going to try and pronounce your last name. Assume that we have not reviewed the application package that you've submitted. Please briefly detail your professional background and personal qualifications that you feel would be of value to the DWP board. Also, explain why you are interested in serving as a DWP board member.
Well, first of all, I'm interested in serving the board. I've been doing this for over 12 years, and I really enjoy giving back to the community. I enjoy working with people, asking questions, and giving them some answers. Really enjoy working on the sustainability projects that we are working on. To me, that's just makes me feel real good for the community. We're doing stuff for the community, and it just makes me feel good I can do that. So that's number one. My technical qualifications, I worked at Boeing for 37 years. I started out at the very beginning as a programmer, IBM system programmer, and then late in my career as I retired, I was a senior IT manager with 24, 26 people. So my skill set is project management and understanding projects and understanding timelines and putting together a, plan, or reviewing a plan to see if it seems feasible. So this has been of benefit to me in my years at DWP to use those skills, or that skill set.
Craig, could you talk to us about the Replenish project, the knowledge you have of it, and as you see the benefits or detriments for that matter, but your opinion regarding that project?
So, so I had to put together some information on that. So the Replenish Big Bear project started out, as you know, way back quite a few years ago. It's taken a long time because of all the permitting and everything else that needs to happen. So some projects like this take 14 years. So where we are currently is that we have done a pilot project, which you know about, which we did last year. And what that was, we have an issue right now with the state. I shouldn't say an issue, but a requirement from the state that we process the water to absolutely pristine condition, like drinking water quality. So that requires us to use what's called a reverse osmosis unit, RO. So we needed some good figures as to what the cost estimates would be for this project. So a pilot project was put together by Metropolitan Water District. So they did the pilot program, and we got some figures back from that. So that was, we were putting together a cost estimate on that. So then after that happened, there were some issues with the company because it was from Israel. And so we found another company that looks like we can do the processing more efficiently, and the brine extraction, which is a problem because you have to get, when you do the reverse osmosis, you end up with all this salt brine, and to get rid of it. This new company has a new technology that's a lot more benefit and less cost. So those figures are being run now to see where we are with that. But essentially, the general planning's done. There are some issues, not issues, there are some details that need to be done exactly where the piping and stuff is going. Is that?
It does. Could you elaborate on the benefits?
The benefits of it is we would process this water instead of sending it down to the valley for the farmer down there. And even that is going to be a problem in the future because the water will have to be processed more than we're processing it now. Now, we're doing a second stage process, so we have to do something. But what we want to do is keep all this water in Big Bear. So we'll put it back in the lake. And by doing that, we increase our lake values. We're not discharging water, which is expensive because when we release water from the dam, that's very expensive to do that. When we release water down the other side and pump it down into the valley for the farmer to use for his fields, that costs us money because every time you export water, we have to pay for that. So those costs will now not happen, which will then offset the cost of doing the processing of the water and keep our lake levels higher than what they would be.
Thank you.
Chuck?
Do you have any issues in your past that could have a bearing on your selection? For example, lawsuits, fines, or ethical complaints? And if the answer is yes, please provide us the details that you feel comfortable sharing publicly.
I don't have any lawsuits or issues so no, I do not have any conflicts or anything. Pretty easygoing guy. So, no.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Do you have any personal, business, or employment connections and/or investments that may result in a possible conflict of interest? And since you are a DWP board member, how often would you estimate that you need to recuse yourself from participation?
I've only had to do that once, and that was because I really legally didn't have to, but for my best, judgment, feel good, I did. And that's because my daughter was a director of a firm that was bidding on a project up here. So that one was, I didn't have to, but I did. Okay. Other than that, no. I'm an IT consultant. After I retired from Boeing, 37 years, I wanted to do something. And I happened to talk to Linda Goldsmith, which is, in the community. And so 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I started to help with their IT issues. And then it kind of like built onto there. So I service a few only businesses. I don't do any personal stuff. So I do their POS systems, their servers, and keep track of it. And so it's all commercial, and there is no conflict that I can see with DWP.
Thank you.
Hi, Craig.
Hi, Randy.
Let's assume there's a controversial issue, such as increasing water rates, before the DWP board. How would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions should they be in conflict with DWP's policies and regulations? And are you comfortable making decisions that may be deemed unfavorable by some, perhaps even at odds with your own preferences?
Well, yes, that happened. That had to do with the rates for when we had the COVID. And I was a real strong pushing for we should give the folks in the Valley a break. So I pushed for a 0 increase for that year. A lot of the members on the board weren't really into that, but I explained my rationale, and I kind of like am pretty logical, right? And so I pushed pretty hard for that, and there was no contentious really something. I just explained my point of view, and I said I think this is important. We postponed it and came back next meeting, and everybody, okay, and we'll do that. So to me, that was important because I thought it was important to the community, and it didn't affect our bottom line that much. We postponed some improvements. The second one was the rate structure when we started to come up with how much we're going to charge. And I pushed real hard. We don't want to go beyond 3%. And I know the other utilities have gone way up. But I think we're very fiscally responsible. I'm very proud of that fact. When I came in, we had some issues with like the IT equipment, they weren't accounting for it wears out, and you need to have a replacement plan. We didn't have a replacement plan on vehicles. So I'm proud of the fact that we put these things in place to where we know where we're going, and we are physically responsible, and I want to keep the rates as low as possible for the public, but not jeopardize us, and I think that's where we are.
Thank you.
Kendi.
As a DWP board member, you obviously have gone to many, many, many meetings. Can you describe any recent topics or issues that led to your decision to want to stay on the board?
Stay on the board. It's, we had some contentious issues a few years ago with one of the members. That was a little rough. So, but just try to use diplomacy and just try to, work your way through it. And that's kind of like the way we handled that particular person. But since that time, it's been very, very nice working arrangement. It's not stressful. Everybody puts their comments out. We always, we don't always agree, but we discuss it, and sometimes the meetings go long. But we either come to a consensus, or like the last meeting, there was a little bit of disagreement as to where we should go. I suggested that we postpone to the next meeting, get some more data, and let's look at it again. So that's kind of how I view it. And I enjoy that because I enjoy working with people and getting solutions to problems.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, what community involvement have you had with other governing bodies that you might have served on in the past, either in Big Bear Lake or elsewhere?
So in Big Bear Lake, I'm also on the sustainability project. So that kind of, between that and my stuff that I'm doing for the businesses up here, kind of keeps me busy. So on the Replenish Big Bear project with Barwood stuff, that's really the community, other stuff that I'm doing. So the Barwood Replenish Big Bear, the treasurer on the DWP, then the commissioner, and that's enough for me. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
Rick?
So let's just say $1 million landed in DWP's desk unannounced, and it's not part of an existing grant for a particular project. What would you like to see done with that money?
Well, if there was a million that just, and we do get grants like that, I don't believe in just going out there and spending the money. If we took a look at where the money came from, and if it was like, free money, I would like to take and, like, reduce our debt. I would like to see us, work on, giving back to the community, like lower our rates. I would look at that. I mean, there's a lot of different factors, but that's the kind of direction I would be going. Don't go out and say, oh, you got $1 million, let's build something. I don't believe in that.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Obviously, you are serving on DWP now, so you know that DWP meets the fourth Tuesday of every month at 9 o'clock, and that there are other meetings, and I presume you continue to have the time to make yourself available to the obligations that serving would entail.
Yes, besides the meetings, there's also the treasurer stuff where I review that. So yes, I have no problems.
Great. Do you have any questions for us with regard to the DWP board membership, or any other information that you would like to share with us in a brief closing statement?
I don't have any questions. I just want to let you know that I'm very happy having the privilege to do this job. Been doing it for quite a few years, and I really enjoy working with Reggie and the people at DWP, and the people over there, like Todd, who's like the meter guy, and them being real nice. And I say, hey, I don't understand something, can you show me? And I don't want to interfere with their work, but I'll show up at the job site and say, oh, here's how you do this and this. And so they were I was very fortunate that they show me what they're doing and explain to me certain things, because I didn't understand how the process worked. So all of that stuff to me, just increasing my knowledge and being able to help is just, I'm just overjoyed with that kind of stuff.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the City Council, we truly want to thank you for your interest in continuing to want to serve on DWP and to be a participant in your community. The goal is to make a decision on 2 DWP board appointees at the end of this meeting today. And if you're unable to stay for the remainder of the meeting, we will make sure that city staff is in touch with our decisions. And I know it's not easy to put yourself out there, and so wanted to thank you for
Well, thank you.
your service. And,
I appreciate the time.
stepping up. Are you Michael? Are you open to going early? And we'll just let James know that. I think we're doing all right with time. Hi, Michael, how are you? As you heard, well, welcome, and thank you for participating in today's interviews. We have 20 minutes for each applicant and 8 questions. There's a timer. If we're running low on time, it will beep at 7 minutes. At the end of the interview, if time permits, we will obviously be available to answer any questions and take a closing statement. And Chuck, I will turn it over to you for the first question.
Thank you. Michael, assume that we have not reviewed the application package that you've submitted. Please briefly detail your professional background and personal qualifications that you feel would be of value to the DWP board. Also, explain why you are interested in serving as a DWP board member. Please.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to start over, or? Okay. So with that, that was my experience in my working career. And one of the main reasons I want to be on the DWP board for Big Bear is I've been a resident up here full-time since 2017. And I just feel with my extensive experience, and I still have a lot of contacts throughout the western United States in both water and power utilities, I can help the board, and I can also serve my community using my past experience.
Michael, with the Department of Water and Power, really water, they're one of the partners with the Replenish Project. Can you explain what you know about the Replenish Project and the benefits?
Yeah, what I know is a lot of what I read in the paper, and then I've actually kind of, because it interests me from my past professional experience, looked up some of the project updates put out by the city and the different entities. But yeah, it's basically taking wastewater, treating it to a high level of purity, and then pumping it back up to the lake to help sustain the lake levels and the quality of the water. So it would help a community that, and having been on both sides of the house, wastewater and fresh water on the city side, yeah, I'm pretty familiar with those operations, and it's very intriguing. I think it's a great idea. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any issues in your past that could have a bearing on your selection, for example, lawsuits, fines, or ethical complaints? If yes, please provide us the details that you feel comfortable discussing in public, please.
No, I have none of those issues in my past or present.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Do you have any personal, business, or employment connections and/or investments that may result in a possible conflict of interest? For example, are you related to anyone that currently works for the city or DWP?
No, I am not, and I have no conflicts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael, let's assume there is a controversial issue such as increasing water rates before the board. How would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions? Should they be in conflict with DWP's policies and regulations? And are you comfortable making decisions that may be deemed unfavorable by some, maybe even at odds with your own preferences?
Yeah, if I did have some personal or misgivings or concerns, one of the main things I would do is, depending on the topic, I would learn everything about that topic. So again, I would have all the facts that either would support my position or feelings, or maybe not support it. I would have no problem, being objective and, being able to vote on the issue. And as far as being uncomfortable, having served in the city capacity for many years, multiple times I had to go out while we were going through for LIDWP, for example, our own rate increase proposals, and going out to neighborhood councils and community meetings, and basically, trying to inform the public of the need for it, the consequences if we didn't get those rate increases. And so, yeah, and my experience, anytime there's a rate increase, it's not a popular public opinion matter. But again, I felt that, if you can effectively explain the need for it, the rationale, and actually point back to, how those rates and monies have been used in the past to either bolster the infrastructure or improve customer service. Those are all things I think you can use to kind of offset some negative feelings. So,
Thank you.
Can we do a follow-up?
Sure.
Michael, part of the question sort of relates to board experience. Have you been on other governing boards previously?
Yes, I have been on a governing board. When we were LADWP, we had the basically main interest in the Intermountain Power Project up in Utah, that we had two big coal-fired plants that supplied power down to the city of Los Angeles, as well as other municipalities like Burbank, Glendale. And I was on the governing board of that for 4 years. And so I had experience doing that. And then I participated throughout my career on the other side, attending commission meetings, over 200 commission meetings. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Have you attended or viewed any recent DWP board meetings? And if yes, describe any recent topics or issues that may have led you to your decision to seek a position.
Well, truthfully, I wasn't aware, because I'm a resident of Big Bear City, and wasn't aware that I could be a participant on be a member of the Board of Commission. I was always kind of looking, though, at the board agendas and things of that nature, and I have since I've applied for the position. I've reviewed like 4 or 5 past board agenda, the minutes, and the topics. And then I've also reviewed the urban management plan for the Big Bear DWP that was put out in 2020 and finalized in 2022. And also looked at the last rate case that was for the board. So although I haven't physically attended the meetings, I have reviewed that. And looking at the past agenda, I mean, it seems like most of the issues are pretty perfunctory, at least from what I've seen recently. I'm sure that when rate things come up, I know there was a little bit of discussion at one of the agenda meetings about one of the commissioners wanting to maybe see about postponing a rate increase, or what would the impacts be of that. And I know the general manager said, that might be a possibility in the future, because I think there's a 2 or 3 year cycle of your rate increases. And if things like that would happen, like if he had mentioned that if we didn't have he didn't have a rate increase, they'd probably have to postpone certain capital improvement projects. But overall, I think it's pretty routine business, which is a good thing when you're on a utility and a commission. So,
Thank you.
My question about serving on other governing bodies was already asked, but do you have any other community involvement that you could share with us?
Well, nothing here locally. When I did retire, my wife and I, so a lot of political, or it was a high-pressure position I was in, so kind of took years to decompress there. And we'd done some traveling that we wanted to do, but now I'm in a position where I know we're going to be home, you know, around for a period of time. I can make all the board meetings, and so that intrigues me. But previously, like I said, I did do a lot of community outreach for LADWP when we had certain issues come up. One of the things I'm most proud of is that towards the end of my career, we started a utility pre-craft training program where we took at-risk youth throughout the LA city, and we created a separate little, it was kind of a pre-training program. So we'd give them the basic skills, things they don't teach in high school anymore, like, you know, wood shop, metal shop, trades. And we took both men and women, and we enrolled them in basic training for basic activity skill sets, so they then could transition to one of our formal apprenticeship programs and start a fulfilling career with DWP, which helps them. It also helped us because what we were seeing out there in the public is that because a lot of the youth would encouraged to go to college instead of trades, our own pool of candidates that would be good employees for us in the field was diminishing, so it was kind of a win-win for everybody.
Sounds like a great program.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Rick.
It's okay.
If the DWP were to receive $1 million grant funding that wasn't designated for a particular project, what you as a board member, what would you be inspired to direct that money?
Well, with not having a lot of familiarity with the department right now, I mean, let's say if I was a new board member and that came up, I would obviously engage management and the council to see if they had anything, you know, interest in certain areas where to put the money. I think the safe thing to do, you know, one of the things in reviewing the budget for DWP for Big Bear Lake is, you know, they have a reserve fund that they keep, and probably maybe one of the safest bets would be to put that money in the reserve fund, and then you could always have it for discretionary use if you so chose later on for maybe an important project or possibly even to offset a rate increase in the future. So.
Thank you. So as we're concluding this interview, I want to make you aware that DWP Board of Commissioners meets on the fourth Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. In addition, there are special meetings, workshops, and committee meetings that require board member participation. Do you have the time commitment and scheduling flexibility needed to serve on the DWP board?
Yes, I'm committed to serving whatever capacity and schedule I need to. So.
I wanted to take this opportunity to ask you if you had any questions for us and if you wanted to make a closing statement.
This time, I know I don't have any questions for any of you, but just in closing, I feel that with my past extensive experience with water and power and the wastewater utility business, I could be an asset for the board. And again, if things did come up where I could leverage some of my previous experiences, some colleagues that still work at LADWP or other utilities, I could use that to help the commission. But again, I'm really looking forward to being able, if so chosen, to be able to help the community and use my expertise for the citizens of Big Bear Lake.
Thank you. Sorry, I was taking notes.
No worries.
On behalf of the City Council, we want to thank you for your interest in serving our community as a DWP board member and for participating in today's interviews. And as you previously heard, our goal is to make a selection of two DWP appointees at the end of our meeting today. So thank you for your willingness to step up and be part of the community.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. James Smith. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome and thank you for participating in today's interviews. We have 20 minutes scheduled for each applicant and 8 questions. The city clerk has programmed a timer that will beep when there are 7 minutes left for the interview time. At the end of the interview time, we'll be providing you with a chance to make a brief closing statement and ask any questions that you might have. And I will get started with, I'll ask Chuck to ask the first question.
Thank you. James, good afternoon. Assume that we have not reviewed the application package that you submitted. Please briefly detail your professional background and personal qualifications that you feel would be of value to the DWP board. Also, explain why you are interested in, continuing to serve as a DWP board member, please.
Yes, I'd be continuing. So I've served for 1/2 of a term and then a full term on the board. My experience is primarily with water conservation, water supply. I'm a licensed architect. I was the chief of development for LA County Parks and Rec for 20 years. And in that capacity, I was in charge of sustainability, water use. Parks and Rec for the County of Los Angeles consumes about 75% of the water of all 34 departments. So our responsibility on maintaining our control of water and how we conserve water and how we developed other means of landscape irrigation. We had 8 recycled water purveyors, and in the county, just for Parks and Rec, there were 34 water purveyors that we dealt with. All that water is obviously not local, so every bit of our water was brought in from Northern California. We had an immense responsibility of maintaining irrigation and plant material that was drought tolerant and low water use. So during my tenure, we replaced a lot of heavy use water use plant material and changed out primarily a lot of water use turf to synthetic turf. So we maintained a real tight control of how much water we consumed, potable water. We also had a program of connecting to all the available recycled water that we could, including borrowing some from LADWP and other purveyors. I also served on the Burbank Sustainability Commission for 8 years, from the initiation of that commission till I retired and moved up to Big Bear. The main goal there was we established the first stormwater management program for the city of Burbank. I also was the representative of our sustainability program for our Department of Parks and Rec, and I served on the committee that developed the first sustainability program for the County of Los Angeles. Out of 34 departments, 8 were chosen to head that program, along with Parks and Rec, Sheriff, Public Works, Fire, all the heavy use departments, and I was part of the committee that established the very first sustainability program for the county. The issues also that I had to deal with was a myriad of rate programs because of the number of purveyors that we had to deal with. So it was a juggling act and a challenge. I also headed up the first program for establishing smart controllers for our irrigation systems to maintain low use of water in our parks.
James, appreciate you giving us that information, but my cohorts here have questions as well.
Oh.
They need to ask, so.
Okay.
So James, I want to hear your thoughts regarding the Replenish program, the knowledge you have of it, and also the benefits.
My feeling is we need to keep the water that we have up here. Right now, we send the mildly treated water down the hill to Lucerne Valley at no charge. I feel that needs to be kept up in our environment, and the program that's being developed to do that is a very advanced program. I've been involved in several of the meetings and so on, and I feel it's a strong approach to keep our community sustainable. We rely on our own water, so we got to watch the tank. And if we send water down the hill, it just decreases our ability to maintain it up here. Places like Orange County have been doing this for a long time. Alone, not only the mechanical filtration system, but putting it back into the ground filters the water also. So by the time it gets down to the aquifers, it's potable when we pump it back up. The program is to pump most of it into the lake. There are a couple of tributaries that will, that will go into a couple aquifers, so we'll replenish our own supply that way. And I think it's a very valid program, a necessary program. It came around once before. It was not pursued, so now the cost is probably triple what it would have been then if we didn't executed the program then. But you got to keep what you have.
Right. Thank you.
Do you have any issues in your past that could have a bearing on your selection? For example, lawsuits, fines, or ethical complaints? If yes, please provide us the details that you feel comfortable sharing publicly.
No, I don't.
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
Do you have any personal, business, or employment connections and/or investments that may result in a possible conflict of interest? And I know you're serving as a DWP board member now.
Right.
How often would you estimate that you needed to recuse yourself from participation?
I haven't had to.
Okay, thank you.
Jim, let's assume there's a controversial issue, such as increasing water rates before the DWP board. How would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions, should they be in conflict with the DWP's policies and regulations? And are you comfortable making decisions that may be viewed unfavorably by others, maybe even at odds with your own?
Yes to the last part. It's happened, and it always will happen. So I feel that as a as a group of commissioners, we discuss all the pros and cons of every issue. And I think we all come to the conclusion that it's best for community. It may not be the one I particularly favor the most, but when you weigh all the issues, I think strong discussion, understanding other people's points of view, brings the group to a good, solid conclusion on how to move forward.
Thank you.
Jim, again, I know you're a board member already. Are there any recent topics or issues that led you to your decision to want to continue on the board?
Yes, I love what I do. It's important to community. I happen to be on a commission with 4 other people that are very, very concerned about how water is used and how our infrastructure works, how we keep our system up to date and keep ahead of the curve. I feel that chasing a problem ends up being more problematic and probably more expensive than if you actually project what your needs are going to be down the line, discuss that, and keep a program going that addresses those things. I also, on a Human Resources Subcommittee, which I feel is very important, working with staff, we helped develop a risk management program that hadn't been in place. It took a lot of work and a lot of discussion back and forth with different concerns and opinions, but we do now have a very solid program. And I really feel being on the HR committee is an important task for me.
Thank you.
Jim, what other community involvement have you had, and are there any other governing bodies that you've served on in the past, in the city here or elsewhere?
Well, I did mention I was on the Burbank Sustainability Commission, and from the initial onset of that commission. So that was helping frame that city's approach to how we were going to deal with sustainability and all issues, energy, water, all concerns that a city like that comes up with. We had some problems with stormwater management because LA City owns all the water under Burbank, as they do other communities. So we had pushback from City Council on putting money into stormwater management because we didn't reap any of the benefits, technically, but it was the right thing to do. All the surface water going into the LA River. So that was a big responsibility when I was with LA County in establishing their first sustainability program.
Thank you.
So Jim, imagine $1 million grant comes in and it's not allocated towards any specific project. What would be your vision for the use of that $1 million?
That's an unusual question. How would you propose a grant for something?
I know, it's a little awkward.
That-
So just imagine $1 million flew out of the sky. and
Okay, that's
landed-
different than getting a
Yeah,
grant
I know.
for nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. I think the needs on infrastructure are always there. We get a lot of grants to apply to infrastructure, a lot of pipeline replacement and so on. I think that's probably a critical place that you might, so-called park money, that you would have for those kind of issues. We have pumps that go out, all our water is pumped out of the ground, so they only have a certain amount of longevity. And sometimes it's a surprise. So that would be a good place to apply that kind of found money, I guess you might call it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Jim, since you already serve on DWP, you know that the meetings are on the fourth Tuesday of every month, as well as other meetings that you need to attend as part of DWP. I presume that you continue to have the time should you be selected again to continue to serve.
Right.
Wanted to take this opportunity now to ask if you had any questions or wanted to make a closing statement.
I'll make a closing statement. I put my heart and soul into the DWP Commission, as do, I think, the other commissioners. I think it's an extremely important role to play in this community. We have to use the water that we have. We don't import water, so keeping track of the gas in the gas tank is paramount. And I really think that's a heavy responsibility that I not enjoy, that's not the right term, but I think is absolutely I do enjoy it, but absolutely a necessary component of what any community member should be involved in. And I think the other thing is educating the community on where our water comes from. I think we have kind of a vague notion from community. We do put a advertisement into the Grizzly on water conservation. We have it on the radio. But I think that some way to make sure that the entire community knows the water that's here is what we have, and how we deal with it is everybody's responsibility.
Thank you. So on behalf of myself and the City Council, we want to thank you for your interest in continuing to serve on the DWP board and for interviewing today. Our goal is to make the selection of 2 DWP board member appointments this afternoon at this meeting. And if you can't stay, the city staff will be reaching out to let you know what our decisions are. So just want to thank you for your time and your willingness to serve.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you. And I saw that Matt is available. Hi, Matt. Can you hear us? Matt, can you hear us? Is he? Yes, he is. Matt, you are muted, and can you hear us? He's talking to someone, but. Okay. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulty with the Zoom.
Hey, Matt, can you hear us? No. No, I just unmuted my mic. I might be able to hear us.
It is unmuted. Matt, can you hear us? Okay.
And I can move it to my phone if we need to.
Oh,
There, I can hear you now. I wasn't hearing you before.
okay.
That's a good sign.
So you can hear us now, Matt?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And you can hear me. Okay.
Yes, it just sounds like it's coming from all over. It's very,
Um,
all right, I'm glad we got that taken care of. So, hi, Matt, welcome and thank you for participating in today's interview. We have 20 minutes scheduled for each applicant and 8 questions. The city clerk has programmed a timer that will beep to notify you when there's 7 minutes remaining of your interview time. At the end of the interview, if time permits, we will be providing you with a chance to make a brief closing statement and ask a few questions. And to get started, I will turn it over to Chuck for the first question.
Thank you. Matt, assume, that we have not reviewed the application package that you submitted, please briefly detail your professional background and personal qualifications that you feel would be of value to the DWP board. Also explain why you are interested in serving as a DWP board member.
okay. So we've lived here in Big Bear Lake since 2009. My professional experience, I've been a business owner prior to being here in Big Bear Lake. And in 2011, we purchased Shirt Shanty. And from there, we have expanded to now owning 7 businesses in the village. And so that's my professional background. When we opened Shirt Shanty, I immediately had joined the Village Business Association. And in that time, I served as president for many years, including when we decided to disband the VBA about 2-3 years ago. I was serving as president when we made that decision. I currently serve on the board of the Chamber of Commerce, and I also co-chair the GA-RTAC committee. And for wanting to serve, I obviously I love Big Bear Lake. I enjoy being a part of what's happening. Of course, I very active in the community. I'm active in city council meetings and everything that's going on. Also, as a member of Visit Big Bear, and so I'm active and I want to contribute more. And so I thought that the DWP was a great opportunity to help out.
Thank you.
Matt, can you tell me the knowledge you have of the Replenish program, and also anything you know about the project and expected benefits this project will have to Big Bear Valley?
Yeah, so what I know of the project, I was, of course, a big supporter of it, is that currently we are sending our halfway processed water down to Lucerne. And so with Replenish Big Bear, that's going to create where we're going to be able to purify the water to the standards that can be released into the lake and into the aquifer, and keeping all of our water here local. My understanding is that they're thinking that it's going to, on average, contribute about 4 inches of water to the lake level. And with us being a hugely dependent on tourism, that average is going to really make a huge difference on our lake levels and the lake for people to enjoy the lake. So that's what I know. I know that it got off track. There's obviously a lot of debate in the community about the expense of the project, but I do believe that it's going to be hugely beneficial, especially over the lifetime. And what else about it is that's what I know about the project. It is back on track. There's going to be what I believe that they're looking at the bids currently, and there's some important meetings coming up here, and I believe here in October.
Great, thank you.
Okay, do you have any issues in your past that could have a bearing on your selection? For example, lawsuits, fines, or ethical complaints? And if the answer is yes, please provide us the details that you feel comfortable sharing publicly.
I do not have any lawsuits against me or my businesses ever.
Thank you.
Hi, Matt, it's Kendi, welcome.
Thank you.
Do you have any personal, business, or employment connections or investments that may result in a possible conflict of interest? Are you related to anybody that currently works for the city? Or I do know you and your spouse do have interest in commercial property or businesses within the DWP service area. Can you please talk about any possible conflict of interest?
Yes, no conflicts of interest. Obviously, my wife and I have businesses, as well as my mother, and we're full-time residents of Big Bear Lake. Other than that, not related to anybody that works at the city, and I certainly don't see any of what we have going on as being a conflict.
Thank you.
Hi, Matt. Let's assume that there's a controversial issue such as increasing water rates before the board. How would you reconcile your personal opinions and emotions, should they be in conflict with the DWP's policies and regulations? And are you comfortable making decisions that might be seen as unfavorable by some and maybe even at odds with your own preferences?
Yeah, so I mean, that's part of what this is making decisions that are going to be the right decisions for everybody and for the long haul. And so I think I'm definitely able to make those decisions, whether they're controversial or not. Is just kind of looking at the bigger picture for everybody and the community as a whole.
Thank you.
Oh, I think it's you.
Matt,
Yes.
have you attended and or viewed any recent DWP board meetings? And if yes, please describe any recent topics or issues that may have led to your decision to seek this appointment.
So I was able to go to, I believe it was the May one. So I attended the May board meeting. There didn't seem to be anything controversial. They were talking about, emergency backup. They're talking about, I believe that it was kind of on the agenda for future talk about there's got to be balance of being fully protected for worst case scenario versus, every day. And of course, the 4th of July there's some cost factors. And so at what level of emergency preparedness do we need and what's necessary? I think that was kind of some of the big takeaways that I had there. I was also able to sit down. Reggie was very gracious with his time. I was able to, I met with him for about an hour and just kind of going over what the DWP is and what the roles are and what's coming up. Of course, pretty exciting that they're going to be building a whole brand new building. And so the DWP, I think, has been doing a great job. So, and just wanted to add, as far as that, going to that board meeting, I was actually very conflicted about continuing with my application here. I think that the current board is doing a great, and so, but after with some further conversations, I thought I wanted to actually move forward with my application.
Thank you.
Matt, I know you've talked about some of your community involvement in the past, and is there anything else that you would add, any other governing bodies that you've served on, either in the city or elsewhere?
There's not. It's just the Village Business Association and the Chamber is what my current experience is.
Thank you.
Matt, imagine $1 million came to the DWP unattached to anything, whether it was grant money or just money that showed up. What do you think the DWP, or as a board member, what would you try to direct the DWP to do with those funds?
I can't really say that I would know enough to be able to say that where it needs to go. I also don't think that just because you have money that it necessarily needs to be spent right away, especially if all the goals are currently being met. So first I would say emergency reserves, and not necessarily just going trying to find things to spend money on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. As we're concluding this interview, I wanted to make sure that you are aware that the DWP Board of Commissioners meets on the 4th Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. In addition, there are special meetings, workshops, and committee meetings that require board member participation. Do you have the time commitment and flexibility needed to serve on the DWP board?
Yes, I do. I am aware of the times and the time commitment, and yes, I do have that available.
I also want to take this opportunity to ask if you have any questions about being a DWP board member or any additional information that you would like to add as a closing statement.
I don't think I have any questions. I do believe that being a local business owner and longtime resident, that I'm going to be able to make a good contribution to the board. I think that's all. I mean, I think that I have a really good eye and being able to show empathy and being able to see multiple sides of issues, and that's the part that I want to be able to contribute.
Thank you. On behalf of the City Council, we want to thank you for your interest in serving your community as a DWP board member and for participating in today's interviews. The goal is to make our decision on the 2 DWP board appointments at the end of this meeting. So if you're unable to stay on, I know you're on Zoom, city staff will be in touch later this afternoon to inform you of the results.
Okay, well, thank you. Sorry I had to be on Zoom. Obviously, I would have much rather have been there in person.
No problem. We appreciate you taking the time and raising your hand to want to be part of and contribute to the community. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Bye.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break and then come back and we'll go through the deliberation process. Does that work? So we'll come back at 2:30. All right. We are reconvening. Erica, I will turn it over to you, the city clerk, to walk through the process.
Absolutely, Mayor. So we were planning to use the same process that we thought worked pretty successful during the June 11th Planning Commission appointment process. So in your binder, there's a little blue card where you can write your name on it, and then you can rank the applicants, one being your top choice. And then the point is that the goal is to appoint 2 DWP Board of Commission members, and they will have 4-year terms. So with Planning Commission, we had a few different options, but that's all that's needing to be done today. And then we'll go through, I'll collect everybody's cards, I'll put them on this PowerPoint, and then I'll kind of darken the screen, and then I'll put them up when everybody's rankings are up there, and then that can be your discussion point for how you'd like to proceed with the nominations. There is a little bit of a question. The card you were provided has a ranking for all 4. We've done different things. I think with planning commissioners, we've done where we had to, appoint 4, and we added 5 slots, and it wasn't all 8 that applied. So that's up to council's discussion, how many you would like to add in your ranking on the little card. So.
Right, what I will say is I think it's, in essence, we put down our top 2, or if you put down your top 3, you're in essence putting down your top 4. And so the question is to the 4 of you, do you want to rank all 4, or do you want to put your top 2 now, and if we have to go back and rank additional, then we can.
Well, just the argument, if we do all 4, it makes sense because we can actually rank by points, which we've done previously to try to figure out.
Oh, Mike, please. Microphone. Thank you, Randy.
Point-wise, if we get to that point, because it obviously might change things.
Sure. Anybody else have any thoughts? I'm always just hesitant for that last,
I understand. Well, we can try it that way, and maybe it would
but
be
I'm
obvious.
open, I mean, that's why we're having a conversation about it, which is,
Do you want to try it that way, and then if it's
What
not
are you-
obvious?
What are you hesitant about, Perry?
you're the 4th
Oh, yeah.
pick. And so, doing this is challenging. I commend everybody who wants to step up and serve, and it's a very hard thing to rank people when there are reasons for each one. And so, to be listed last is, I'm just sensitive to feelings as well, contrary to what many people probably think about me.
I think even if we only did 3, then that one
Well,
person.
no, that's what I said, it's either 2, that's what I said, it's either 2 or we rank all, and I'm fine either way.
I'm fine doing 2, and then it might be obvious. If it's not obvious, then we maybe have to re-rank. Not re-rank, but then give the other rankings so that we can then go on a point system.
How do people feel about that?
Yeah. Let's try 2, see how that works.
Yep.
Perfect. And please just remember to put your name on the back so I know when I fill out my little spreadsheet. Thank you.
We probably should have done 4, but.
While we're tabulating, can I make a comment?
Please.
So it'd be great if we could expand the board to 7 and appoint all 4, frankly. because they're all great candidates, and it's hard, in my opinion. And these last two cycles that we've been through for Planning Commission and now for DWP has been a pleasant situation in that we've had a lot of great choices. It's not always that way, I think, as I mentioned last time. So that part is encouraging. For what it's worth, from my perspective, I've tried to balance experience also with perhaps some new perspectives. And I also see these roles as pathways to other roles in the Valley. And so no matter what happens, I would encourage people that applied for this that might not have gotten the role that they wanted to, one, keep trying, both here if they're interested for DWP, or try for other positions as well, because I think all of these people today are capable in serving in a variety of roles around the Valley. So I just want to make sure that people understand that's where I'm coming from with it.
Thank you.
I'd just say well stated, and I have the same type of thoughts.
I would agree. I am comforted by the fact that we are getting people who continue to want to raise their hand and give and serve in our community. It is not an easy thing to do, and I've sat in that chair to be appointed, and it's not an easy thing to go through this process from either side. And I don't think we could make wrong choices today.
We need that Jeopardy music.
That was just going in my head. I actually feel all right, which is rare. Yes. You see a pattern?
Four votes and four votes. Two different applicants.
I see four and,
You're right, I'm sorry.
anybody have comments or thoughts?
I say unless someone sees something different, I'd say it looks to me like we're probably looking at Matt and Craig.
Yeah, I guess this is where having a third and fourth would have come into play to figure out who, if there were people who had a top ranking of 1 versus a ranking of 3. But I think we definitely have somebody who we have consensus, it looks like, on 2. So I think the next step is
Nomination.
nominations. So, should we handle them separately, or can they?
I reviewed the planning commission appointment process today, and it looks like somebody did it for when there was a clear favorite, somebody just did it for the 2, and that was perfectly fine. Or you can do it one by one. It's either way is fine.
I could just do it for 2 and make it simple. Okay, I move that Matt Scriven and Greg, help me with the last name? Hort? Be nominated for the 2 positions on the Department of Water and Power.
Second?
Nope.
I'll second.
We don't.
Oh, we don't.
Okay, so then I'll just go through the vote. So this is for the 2 DWP candidates to serve a 4-year term that will expire June 30th, 2029, and that would be Craig Horth and Matt Scriven. Councilmember Herrick,
Yes.
Councilmember Putz,
Aye?
Mayor Pro Tem Segovia,
Aye.
Councilmember Hicks,
Aye.
Mayor Melnick.
Aye.
So that's unanimous, and then if you wanted to appoint a third, we've done that before, but there's many times we don't, for a period of 3 months, in case someone were to have to step down.
I would. I mean, I think James has 3. Or no, I guess 2. I would have no problem with that. Should somebody else not be? Would that be if any of the other 4 planning commissioners could not serve, they would be appointed?
Any of the DWP,
I'm
yes.
sorry, planning.
Absolutely. Anything unexpected happen in the next 90 days, they would automatically be seated, correct? No, not just the 2 today, any of the 5 of them. Is that your nomination?
That would be my nomination.
Okay. So this would be for basically the member in the wings if there were to be an unexpected resignation from the board. Let's see, Councilmember Hicks,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segovia,
Aye.
Councilmember Herrick,
Aye.
Councilmember Putz,
Aye.
and Mayor Melnick.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. There being no other business today, this meeting will be adjourned, and I want to thank everybody again for stepping up and interviewing, and ask that they continue to remain active in the process. Thank you.